So in the past few days, we have asked you what are some of the questions you may want to ask to our very special guest today. He is none other than Mr. Muhammad Ismail Gafoor, who is the CEO of the largest listed real estate agency in Singapore currently. And we have heard you. So all of the questions are right here in this box, and there are some sensitive questions inside. So stay tuned to watch how this video turns out. Hi guys, today we have a special guest with us. He is none other than our boss, our CEO at Propnex. It's Mr. Muhammad Ismail Gafoor.
Hi.
Thanks for being here today,
All
boss.
the viewers, really excited. But actually, I'm used to giving a lot of interviews. But I think this is going to be something different. That's what Jervis says.
That's right.
And let me take it through.
It's going to be a personal one.
Sure.
And what happened, right, boss, was that the past week, our team actually have asked a lot of questions online.
Okay.
And all these mostly are from 21 to 35-year-olds.
Fine.
So there are a lot of personal questions inside.
Sure.
And you must be comfortable answering all of them.
As long as it doesn't touch something
Sensitive.
Yeah.
If it's too sensitive, you let me know.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
no
we will
worries.
begin now. We will be asking a series of 10 questions, not everything inside.
Yeah.
So in this episode, it's going to be so interesting.
Good.
Alright, boss, maybe we can take a pick for the first
Okay,
question.
let me take something deeper.
We put some of the more sensitive ones
hopefully
up.
have a
Thank you,
easier
boss.
question.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very okay question that I can answer.
The question is, why is Mr. Muhammad Ismail balding? He's so rude. Who's the one who wrote this?
I think it runs in my family.
Family.
Actually, for those of you who know my younger brother, Nizam Gafoor,
Yes, a senior leader in Propnex.
he is 4 years younger than me. He has got totally no hair.
And you still have.
So I'm one better than him.
Yes.
Yeah, my younger days. Maybe if I
saw
take
the
back, I will
photo.
send it to you.
Yes.
Afro hair of 5 times of yours. Yeah. So I think it's all the stress and enjoying the journey. I'm really not worried about these things. I'm happy as what I look like.
That's right. And he still looks handsome. And leading the largest listed company, real estate company in Singapore is definitely not easy.
Surely will lose hair one.
Correct. All right, the second question. See,
Okay,
shouldn't
that's
reach
okay,
so deep.
That's okay.
Okay,
that's
let's
okay,
see.
that's okay.
Okay, this is a very good question, especially from you, right, Mr. Ismail. How do you feel about competition?
Competition?
That's right.
Beautiful. Honest truth, believe me, I always want to win.
Yes.
That's in me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm not a sore loser because, put it this way, today Propnex is number one, but we were never number one all the time. When I grew and started the company, I always wanted to achieve a target and to aim. But along the process, Propnex was once number one, and I remember in year 2008, headline news in Channel News Asia, we terminated 2,800 salespeople on one day. And that was simply because we wanted all our salespeople to have compulsory professional indemnity insurance before even CA was formed.
Yes.
And many of the agents felt that, why are you wanting to set such standards? I'm not a crook agent to buy insurance, but I say let's protect the consumers. And when I give some deadline, and by the deadline appeared, and these 2,800 salespeople choose not to, and we send a letter to say from tomorrow you are no more with Propnex. And that means immediately from number one, I was no more number one. But it is never about being number one. To me, competition is healthy. Competition put us in a very positive energy as long as you take it in the right spirit. On the other hand, I also think, honestly, I mean, to many of the listeners may think that, am I telling the truth? But believe me, honestly, I think I don't have a competition.
Wow.
That's the honest truth. Not because I'm number one. Even when I was number two or when I was beginning, the competition is within me. It is about me improving every day and adding value in the process. It really doesn't matter. So what, even if I'm number one, there are how many more people, successful entrepreneurs around the world who have achieved so many things. Admire them, learn from them, just do your best.
All right, on to the third question. You can reach.
Okay.
The deeper it is, the more sensitive the question.
Okay, never mind. Okay, maybe the next one I take in some of the...
Okay, amazing. Okay, this is from one of our followers, and they asked, what is an advice for millennials who is looking to start a business or looking to start like an agency, real estate agency like yourself?
Okay, I mean, please don't feel negative about it. If you're a millennial, don't bother to start an agency.
It's not easy.
Be part of an agency to grow hugely. And I will tell you this is for a very valid reason. Even if I'm a millennial now, that will be the same advice for myself. I will choose not to start the agency. Then he said, are you telling this from a selfish approach because you do not want competition? No, not true. Because we have changed the real estate business so much so, I mean to all the listeners of that, and especially if you're young millennials, imagine you earn $100, the company gives you $90, the company have $10. Under our dual career path, the manager and leader get $4, the company have got balance $6, and out of the $6, we have a pension program of another 40 cents and a breakout of 90 cents. The company have got $5, 10 cents for $100 that you earn, and yet I have to provide huge amount of support with our overhead of rental per month 200 over 1,000, staff cost 400,000. Don't attempt. That's my advice. But be smart. The good thing about millennials are you are so creative. The digital world space, add value, make a difference, create value add. Just be part of a system that adds values to you. That will be my real advice.
That's right. And I can really attest to this because sometimes I want to ask you a question, boss. Company takes so little, so how do you cover your overhead costs?
Yeah, so believe me,
Yep.
as I said that, in fact I shared during the Millionaire
Yes.
program or the award presentation, why even companies with 1,000 over salespeople in Singapore couldn't exist.
Right.
I mean, I'm very happy, nothing negative or what. Dr. Dennis Wee is a very good friend of mine. He has been in the business for over 20 over years. Yes. He decided to merge with us and we took over all the agents. And there are other companies like DTZ and many others with 1,000 over. And there was a company that was once had by the name of HSR, a few thousands of salespeople. Today, all of these people don't exist. Or they have merged with someone else. The reason here is this is so competitive, and that's why it may not really make huge sense. But the only way why Propnex can make a difference, because there are three things that exist in Propnex. Number one, good people.
That's right.
It is very important. When you grow your team, even team, don't talk about a company, even your team, you need to have very like-minded people, alignments of core values. When this is not there, you cannot grow. Number two, it is all about having that value of making a difference in the life of others.
Yeah.
If you're focused with just creating money, it's not possible.
Yeah.
And thirdly, it's in the culture. Propnex culture is always about sharing.
Yes.
So if any team or any company who wants to compete, if they cannot get this DNA right, it's going to be tough.
That's right.
That's the way I look at it.
Okay, next question, Mr. Ismail.
Okay, I take the top from that.
I hope that you can get this question that I really wanted to ask actually. Let me see. This is something that actually you
What
answered.
was the hardest decision you have to make as a leader which others may not agree?
Yes.
Okay, fine. It's true. I think there are many situations. The good thing here is this: decisions are guided by core values.
That's what you always tell me.
And one of the key things here is this: I never pray to money.
Yep.
The day when you pray to money, you will be blinded. And when you are blinded, you will cut corners. And when you cut corners, you will do things that you are not aligned with the core values that you desire. So that's the key thing. But the hardest decision for me here is this. To start with, wow, there are thousands of it. I choose to marry my wife is one of the hardest decisions.
I hope that Mrs. Ismail is not watching this.
Yeah, no, but of course, but it is in a very positive way. Because I was put to a test that my dad said, if I want to marry my wife, he disowned me.
Wow.
So I walked away from home and I choose to marry my wife today.
Yeah.
We are so happy and I'm so glad I made that right decision. But today I'm back with my mom and dad, we are all together. But it is a decision I have to walk out. There was just a little difference of race and religion, not because of anything else. My parents wanted someone else or an arranged marriage, but I say it's my life. Yeah. So I'm forced to make decision at an early age of 20s.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the starting point. Then I went on to the army and stayed there as a pensionable officer, which means if I remained in the army and at the age of 50, I will get a one lump sum gratuity of more than $1 million.
Wow.
But at the age of 32, after 13 years of service, I choose to resign. And I forego the $1 million. And in fact, if I choose to stay another 3 more years, 35, I qualify for a scheme known as volunteer early release, and I can get about 140,000.
That's a lot.
So it's a dilemma of, should I wait another 3 years and get 140,000, or choose to remain for another 18 years and get $1 million, or make a decision to exit and do what you desire to do.
Wow.
So it's decision point.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, starting Propnex was a decision, and we had 5 partners, and then we had so many things that we did. Or is it terminating the 2,800 salespeople when I mentioned earlier, or adding? It's about decision. So I won't say it's toughest. To me, making decision is not the toughest thing.
Yes.
Because, as I said 1,000 times, it is guided by values. You always make a decision for the goodness of your people and yourself and societies at large. So that being the case, a decision is not tough to me.
I see.
And I will make another 100 decisions in front of me. I'll be guided by this and I will still make.
I see.
Yeah.
All right, the next question. What was your dream job when you were younger?
Dream job.
Was it really real estate?
Okay. Honest truth, I wasn't a very ambitious person. Yeah, when I was young. Because we come from a very poor family. My dad was an immigrant and 5 brothers and 1 sister. We grew up in a 1-bedroom rental HDB flat, 5 of us in the living hall. As a news vendor, my dad, we helped in deliver all the 5 boys, my siblings, wake up at 4:30 a.m. and deliver newspapers. Yeah. So I honest truth, never in my 18 years before I went into the army, I had a dream of what I want to be. Never. Because every day was a struggle. Yeah. So that's why when I went into the army, it was a dream. Because army was like, wow, life is so good. At home, you wake up at 4:30 a.m. to deliver newspaper. Army, wake up 5:30, I can sleep 1 hour longer. Yup. And army, I had a little bit more freedom.
Yes.
So, and that's why I straight away signed on in the army as a regular.
Yes.
That was my dream. My dream only came in the age of 18 when I entered the army and I chose that dream.
Yes.
But then eventually I realized, as much as I loved the army, and that's why I continued to serve the army until year 2019, because we were poor.
Yeah.
When I was 18-year-old boy, as I took the bus to go to army camp, I had a buddy of mine whom we go together when we book in camp. As we passed Kavanagh Road, he told me his uncle sold a property, and I'm talking about in the 1980s.
Wow.
Sold a property at Kavanagh Road. His uncle was a civil servant, and he made $250,000 profit.
That's a lot in the 80s.
And I thought, hey, I almost like feeling a bit dizzy at the time. We woke up and delivered a newspaper. Those days, for younger generation, you may not know. Sin Chu Jitpo, Nanyang Siang Pao, Sin Ming Daily.
Sin Ming Daily, yeah.
Yeah, but right now it still exists lah. So the earlier ones all now don't have lah. Yeah. So every paper that we sell, we get 4 cents. Because it's 20% of 20 cents those days, 4 cents. I said 4 cents. I wasn't able to quickly deduce 250,000 divided by 4 cents, how many papers? I said, so difficult to count. Yeah. But I knew if I owned 4 properties and each I can make 250,000, I will be a millionaire.
Yes.
And that passion grew, that I want to know more about properties.
I see.
And that was a dream. Okay, quick one.
Okay, thanks. Let's see what it is.
What was his journey like when he was younger? All rosy?
I think it's something you mentioned.
Yep, okay.
So I think specifically they want to know about...
Maybe my real estate journey.
Correct, that's
okay,
right.
my real estate journey.
Your real estate journey, how it all started. Anyway.
Okay, fine. Let me just talk about my real estate journey.
That's right.
My first property was a HDB 3-room at Mountbatten, Jalan Batu, Block 5. Yeah. stayed there for a couple of years, and then I felt that I wanted to upgrade. And then we bought our first condo. I think I'm talking about the late 1980s. And the property was known as Normanton Park, the old one.
Old one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised. I bought that at that time from now retired probably or what, I'm not so sure, our minister Lim Swee Say.
Wow.
He was the owner, and I went there and we negotiated. And just to let you know, I bought it for $90,000. Yeah.
That's not even the cost of a car now. So.
Yeah, my goodness. Yeah.
Wow.
And stayed there for a couple of years, and I really loved the place because suddenly Normanton, it's such a huge landscape. So you have got tennis court, you got a small football field, you got a basketball court. And I was a young man and I was enjoying all the things and so on. Stayed there for a couple of years, and then I got a posting to Brunei for 1 year, came back, saved a little bit more money, and I felt that I wanted to upgrade. I sold the Normanton Park for $135,000. So I made a 50% profit. So I was so bloody happy. Yeah. For those people who, when it went en bloc,
yes,
people got $1.7 to $1.8 million. But no regret.
Yes.
Because that 45,000 increment had made me many more than the en bloc.
Definitely.
And then we decided to buy an inter-terrace house in the 90s, early 90s. And believe me, a lot of people advised me not to buy, especially my seniors. I was a very young lieutenant in the armed forces. Salary wasn't so great. My wife was also a regular in the armed forces. She was also an officer. Combined, our income was not huge. And we wanted to buy a brand new inter-terrace house at the eastern part of Singapore. And it only cost $610,000, but we couldn't raise the money.
Okay.
We couldn't raise. We went to so many banks. They said, nope, not rejected, we can't, and whatever. But eventually one local bank gave us the loan. And that's where we bought a property at $610,000. So from a 3-room to a condo to an inter-terrace. Yeah. We stayed in the inter-terrace for some time, and suddenly we didn't like it. I mean, my wife had a miscarriage because it was a 3-story, and the end suites, the biggest room was on the 3rd floor, up and down and so on. I said, no. We want a single story. So we sold the inter-terrace and bought near Coven, Richard's Place, it's a road,
yes,
a semi-detached, 3,735 square foot land, single story. Guess what's the price?
$850,000.
$525,000. A semi-D, 3,735 square foot. Those days, I bought it at $525,000.
That was in the 90s.
90s, early 90s.
500. That's like a HDB price.
Yeah, but I tell you today HDB price. But you see, that's why maybe I don't envy you all being millennials because you're working so hard. We worked hard too, but see, I mean, that's why I never regret about holding on to the Normanton.
Yeah.
It is always a journey,
Yeah.
okay? And I never even stay in the semi-detached one night. Never.
So you just flipped the option?
No. I rented the place for a good 10 years.
Wow.
And because I and my wife, we didn't have any children then,
Yes.
so we bought a Mandarin Garden studio apartment and stay life to the fullest. Because Mandarin Garden is like in a resort living.
It's big.
So we just had, and then we just collected rental.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, we are not even 30s. We are still 20 plus those days.
Wow.
That's how we made our move. So, and I'm still in the armed forces as a regular. Now what gives me the courage to say, hey, I want to go out? I come to a realization, our knowledge, myself and my wife, so much better than many salespeople those days.
Yeah.
Because we have owned it, we have owned a HDB, a condo, upgraded, and then bought a semi-D, and we own 2 properties while we are still a civil servant.
In your 20s?
In our late 20s
20s.
by that time.
Wow.
And we said that, that's why I left the armed forces at the age of 32.
I see.
Okay, I felt that I want to go out there and make a difference to have more people achieve their dreams and their dream homes. And that's how the birth of real estate and Propnex came about.
I see. Was it easy starting Propnex at the first 2 years of starting Propnex? How was it for you?
It's really shocking for you to know. We started Propnex 15th July 2000. 6 months down the road. we wanted to destroy and break off.
Wow.
Because among partners, we couldn't agree in alignment. At that time, I haven't crafted my core values. That was my problem.
I see.
So, how did the birth of Propnex came about? I was so obsessed with one thing, economies of scale so that my people can benefit. So quickly, 5 companies came together those days. And I went there, I took my suitcase and went to pitch to umpteen companies, 20 over real estate bosses. I talked to them, we are small, we cannot add value, we don't have economies of scale, let us come together. People just say, this young man with maybe talk, it will not work, but they were true. It's not easy, but eventually 5 companies saw that vision. But I was only obsessed with one thing, economies of scale, but didn't know the 5 of us values were different. Within 6 months, was supposed to break. But because we started, we held on to it. And because Propnex are the 5 partners, we were tied in by a franchise agreement that is renewable every 2 years. Believe me, for all the Propnex salesperson and the young millennials, thank you so much for trusting in Propnex today.
Thanks so much for sharing, Mr. Ismail. Thanks for being vulnerable. Thank you. Okay, now we are on to our 7th question.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm still hoping for that question to come up. Yes!
What is his net worth? Okay. I mean, it's open secret because if it is all you can go to SGX, and today I'm so happy. Propnex as a company today is 570 million or so. Yeah. So based on my shares, based on my properties, based on what I have, I should at least be half of it.
You guys heard it right.
Yeah. So it could be more than 100, more than 200, maybe 300,
maybe more.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe more than 1 billion, maybe. Possible.
Maybe in time to come. But as I said, I never anchor on money.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's something that I really
It's just a byproduct.
Yes.
You see, one of the key things I always tell all the young people here is, hear me please. All rewards and recognition. Rewards your net worth, rewards your income, your happiness, whatever. Your recognition, number 1 agent, whatever it is a byproduct of anyone working passionately with the belief of adding greater value to people, mankind, and society. So from young, I've never focused on my net worth or my income. It's just a byproduct.
Yes.
Every day, just go and do what is right. And you'll grow.
Thank you for sharing.
Good. Okay.
Great question. Okay, the 8th question now. We have the last three questions. Yes, let's see. With the property market booming and many considering the path to become an agent, how do companies ensure or coach new people to remain competitive and relevant?
Okay, I mean, this is a very easy question. Very, very easy question. Simply because I really think real estate business is, I used to say evergreen, believe me. And I was so clear in my mind when I choose to go into this path. Why I say that? I mean, it may not be so nice the way I put it. Every young couple who want to get married, what is the first thing they want? A roof over their head. Every young entrepreneur who wants to start a business, he needs a business space. How many business sometimes can last? Or when the business grow, he have to continuously look for new places. How many marriages even these days last? Whether you like or you don't like, if the marriage don't work, they have to move on, put emotions aside. You have to dispose of the property. For all the marriages that last, we are so happy for them. And as they grew in terms of family size or the income, they need to upgrade. For those people who over leverage and stress or lost their job, they need to downsize. So can it ever be a time that there is no requirement for real estate transactions, whether it's SARS, whether it's Asian financial crisis, whether it's a global crisis, or is a cooling measure? I don't matter. It doesn't matter. So as a millennial, as a new agent, what is your value proposition to the people around you? It is not your age, it's your knowledge. It is about your values. It's about being with the right group of people to make a difference to others. So I think it's a business that is evergreen and will be there for a long time.
I see. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, okay, two more.
Two more questions.
Yes.
Pick your fate. Okay, sure. This is going to be the one. I think this is 0, right?
Yeah, this one. Okay, this one. They're asking what is the overriding
And
income.
Mr. Ismail doesn't earn overriding.
Yeah, I don't
income.
earn
That's
overriding.
Right.
Other people do.
Yes.
But I'm happy.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is the one. Ah!
What is
Great
your
question.
greatest fear?
So we always see you as a very strong and courageous leader and we believe in your vision. But there must be fears, right?
No, but you'll be so surprised when you say about greatest fear. I can be very emotional. I've cried on stage. That's okay. And I think is a man who can cry doesn't make him any weak.
Of course.
I think he's able to connect and touch and be real. My greatest fear is anything being claustrophobic. So to cut the story short, I experienced almost a death at the operating theatre during the prep stage because I went breathless.
Wow.
And after the recovery of the operation, I had a huge nightmare. Even middle of the night, I wake up, I panic, worrying, am I breathing right?
Yeah.
Can I breathe right? Yeah. I come to office, I dare not take the lift alone. I go to a toilet, let's say handicapped toilet, and I lock. Sometimes the lock lever, and suddenly it cannot open. Therefore, I cannot be confined.
I see.
You don't restrict me.
Yeah.
So much so for a good 5 years, I never even take aeroplane.
Wow.
Cannot.
Wow.
Because if I say I want to go out, allow me to go out. How can I come off the plane?
Yeah,
I will die.
It's true.
Yeah, but I overcome that in the last 4 years.
Wow. Congratulations.
So now I travel. Now I don't have this fear.
Yes.
I don't have this fear.
Thanks for sharing.
Good.
All right, the last golden question of the day before you have to go for meetings.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time.
Okay.
This one.
Oh, two.
This one? Okay. Okay, this is something that I think someone who has followed your content quite often, he said, you mentioned that success is not defined by material wealth, but with authority and money. Has there been any instances where your stance might have wavered? And if so, how do you find your footing back?
Oh, okay.
Great question. Perfect question.
Believe me, never in my life, never, so far, blessed. And I hope the Almighty will help me and I be guided by this. Money will not blind me.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely sure.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a fear if Propnex is tomorrow number 2 or number 3, or if I am being removed as a CEO, I will have no fear. The reason here is this: I already said I'm blessed and I just want to do the right thing. Maybe if I say this, I feel like this. Every one of us, every listener out there, every one of you, we are an angel created by the Almighty of whatever faith we believe. We come to this world, we have a purpose. Whether you choose to be a real estate or whether you choose to be a doctor, the calling is yours. But we have a purpose. I mean, that's my own thinking, it's my own analogy, and I'm quite certain each and every one of us out there are born as an angel with a purpose.
Yep.
Let's continue to do that.
Yeah.
Never be blinded, always be guided.
Yeah.
And with that, all of us can achieve huge amount of success, happiness, contentment, compassion, and it is never money and material absolute.
Yeah. And I totally agree with that, because I think that everybody comes on this earth with a purpose, and most importantly is that we need to leave a positive dent before we leave this earth.
Good.
Thank you so much.
I'm
for
going to
today.
give you one chance.
Yes.
I don't know, whatever all the 10 I answered, I finished. Because you are the leader of this group, I'm not going to pick. I give you a bonus question. You can ask anything that is not being picked or you want to ask.
Wow, this is an amazing question. Okay. What is your plan for your life for the next 20 years?
Interesting question.
Yeah. Are you going to retire anytime soon?
No,
not soon. I mean, of course, yeah. But
Sure. I think a lot of you should read my book, Timeless Gift. Timeless Gift is an amazing, amazing book. It was one of the bestsellers. But I don't think it's available the hard copy these days. I wrote that about more than 10 years ago. I believe a life quadrant. I in fact trademark a life quadrant. I made it to 20 years, 40, 60, 80, 20 years per quadrant. The first 20 years, what we do, we go and study, education, and values. These are the two most important foundation years. 20 to 40, most of you are there now. What is most important? To me, it's the most toughest quadrant. You get married, you have a career, you want to buy a house, you want to accumulate, you want to create a name. Toughest time, and you may still have a child.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some of you will have even trouble.
Yeah.
Divorce and things like that and so on. But it's the most, but of all the things that you are doing, there's one thing you must do right. In my view, investment. Yeah. Only when you invest right at these 20 to 40, it will give you reward in your third quadrant and the fourth quadrant.
Which is 40 to 60 and 60 to 80.
Yeah. I am 57, going to the tail end of my third quadrant.
Yeah.
And what is this whole third quadrant? Is about sharing the joy with your loved ones.
I see.
You see, believe me, my mom and dad, my dad is 96, staying with me, blessed and he's healthy. But they need huge amount of medical care.
Yeah.
Can you provide? So when you are 50 to 60, when you're 50, your children will be 20. Yeah. They want to go to a university. Can you provide? Whether how much you can provide dependent on 20 to 40 what you did right. Yeah. I mean, you heard my journey earlier. I invested, I bought this one. You have to invest. Yeah. So in the third quadrant, it's all about taking care of your loved ones. 60 to 80, you should not be working so hard just because you need the money, but you want to continue to work because you want to make a difference. Yeah. And be a little bit more towards earthy matters, be spiritual, yeah. Give to society, be a happy person. And I'm looking forward. And you ask me, I still think I got a good 13 years more.
Yes.
Up to age 70.
Yes.
Before I say that I had enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
You work very hard.
As long as I'm blessed.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for today.
Okay, appreciate that. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So on behalf of all the millennials who are watching this, if you are from Propnex Gen, those that are under 30s, or if you are a millennial from any other agency, or you're just a millennial wanting to get some inspiration, thank you so much, Mr. Ismail, for today. And
indeed, my pleasure.
The heartfelt sharing that we have.
Really appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
And thank you.
Yes. I hope you have enjoyed this very special interview with the CEO himself. And if you love this video, remember to give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and leave us some positive comments. And let us know who is the next guest you want us to bring into our studio. Thank you so much for watching this episode with us.